out of every part of the human anatomy that you could have chosen to be, you had to choose to be an asshole? It would seem that by the minute your madness gets deeper and deeper. Mr. Dr. Whiteman, Russ Whitey, give us your take on this social divide.
Well, it's really pretty tough. Pretty tough to say still. I must to some extent agree with Mr. Muda. Because to some extent it would seem that the Poom Poom has always been at the center of man's ultimate upliftment and their downfall simultaneously. But I think the biggest thing that affects mankind...
What is that?
...is what we tell ourselves.
Interesting.
Now, let me state something clearly now.
Okay.
The worst person for a human being to lie to is themselves. Now, we see ladies doing this all the time.
How often?
Like all the time.
All the time?
They lie to themselves about what they want. Now, they say they want honesty, they want a good guy, they want a man to open the doors for them,
they don't?
pull out a chair.
You think they don't?
Fucking liars. They're fucking liars. I'm telling
liars.
you, they're lying to themselves.
I don't think so.
Okay, now, a lot of men, for the most part, aren't willing liars. They're trained by the women to be liars because the women want to be told what they want to hear as opposed to what the truth is. Now, case in point, once upon a time I had a girl. Oh my God, I'll never forget Emily. Emily was a nice girl, good character. She was the greatest love of my life. I was so in love. It was all good. But one big problem. Emily couldn't face reality. Emily lived in a fantasy world. Now, we started having miscommunications and this and that and the other thing. Now, I couldn't reach Emily anymore, so I was wondering, what was I doing wrong? I'm not reaching Emily. I became a bit distraught and lonely, and I thought, God, I need a hug. I'm freezing here. So I went out and I hooked up with this girl, and I got the hug, and I felt like my old self again. I felt like a thug. A white thug, but I felt unstoppable. I felt elephantistic, bad man don't bathe with his baby mother rug and so forth. And before I knew it, my dick was so far up her poom poom that I had to report it missing afterwards.
So you and Emily's relationship never regained footing?
I was just getting to that. Now, a little time went by, Emily came around, she said she was sorry, and I was feeling a bit guilty. So I started thinking about Emily and what she always said about, you can tell me the truth no matter what, we can work it out, and blah, blah, blah. So I decided, to fess up, stand up as a man. And I said, look, Emily, something happened. I fucked this girl. It didn't mean anything. And before I could finish, boom! That was my Western Union moment.
And what you mean by that?
She transferred so fast, she made us off of power look like molasses on a cold fucking winter's night.
Okay.
She was out of there.
Could you enlighten our listeners as to the conclusions that you have reached based upon your experience and your assessment of that experience?
Well, I've concluded, based on my observations, that most men are idiots. Women are smarter than us. No! Let me finish. Come on, Mr. Moda, Parachuter, Babalooker, whosoever you are. Mr. Big Thicket, let me speak, okay? I'm not
Let
afraid
the man speak for crying out loud.
I was never afraid of
talk fuckery about the
now,
brothers and all.
Relax and let me speak, okay? Now, women are not only smarter than men, but they're also luckier, as they have to their benefit the gravitational pull of the poom poom. Now, growing up as a man, we were taught by the media, the movies, the magazines, etc., that it's cool to be cool, They glorified the image of a man that was on the football team, cutting class, hanging out on the corner, smoking marijuana. Those are the guys that get all the vagina. Girls can't keep their hands off those guys. Now, on the flip side of that same coin, we were taught that those guys who went to school, who educated themselves, were called nerds. Social misfits. While life, on the other hand, for the cool guys was just a constant party. Now, fast forward a couple of years ahead. Now, the party is over. Mom and Dad is saying that the bills gotta get paid. You gotta get a job. Now the ladies, they come to their senses first. Suddenly, they're responsible for their own existence. Love changes. They've got to survive. So who do they end up marrying? The fucking nerd. Then all those guys who didn't educate themselves, Mr. Cool to be cool, they end up doing some shitty job, can't make ends meet. He goes home, and what is he gonna hear from his girl? To the left, to the left. Everything you own is in the back to the fucking left.